Okay, I would like to open the town council meeting, call it to order. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. This would be from the November 18th, 2025 meeting. Any discussion? Motion for approval?
So moved to approve the minutes.
I have a motion from Bill. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Ashley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business. Welcome, by the way. DLZ. Todd?
All right, so a couple updates plus.
Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me, just a moment. Claims, payroll, comp time, fund and appropriation report. Any discussion? Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Barry. Do I have a second? Second by Ashley. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
You're just so excited to get through.
I know, I was so excited I couldn't wait to hear the updates. Okay.
Quick update on the 2025-2 streets that API was awarded. They may be able to start storm sewer work in February, March. That'll be good. And then move right into the streets once the ground thaws out and the asphalt lane opens up. So that's a good update. The other update we got is we opened bids for the alley on Friday. Open quotes, I should say. API was the low quoter at $125,133.00. We'd ask council make a motion to approve that and award that to API and sign the agreement outside of the meeting.
Okay, any questions on the bids that came in for the alley improvements? One from API, one from Brooks.
So moved to approve the quote from API for $125,133.
Okay, we have a motion for API at $125,133. Do I have a second? I have a second from Barry. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Also, a motion to sign the agreement outside of the meeting. I have a motion by Barry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Scott. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else?
Unfortunately, our CCMG application was not awarded, and that was very selective in this round. It was a very tight competition, but are we ready to apply in the next one for those streets? Permitting with the utilities is still ongoing. That's rough. And then per NDOT, we need to update the ADA and Title VI documents. So we asked council for a motion to work with Kathy as the coordinator and make sure everything's good with Kurt's office on them to get those updated and sent into NDOT. It's got to be a yearly update now. So in order to stay current with NDOT, so we asked motion to update those.
Do I have a motion from Barry for the updating of ADA and Title VI plans per NDOT's guidelines? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ashley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the item, comprehensive plans, town and park.
Hi, my name is Crystal Welsh. I'm with Abbott Marsh, and we have had the pleasure of working with our steering committee for the comprehensive plan and Parks Master Plan over the past almost year now. And so tonight is the last step in that process, in which we'll be asking the council to adopt both the comprehensive plan as well as the Parks Master Plan. And so I think we've updated the documents for you with a few inserts that we need to pass back out because we're going to go through those We're gonna start with the comprehensive plan. So, we have that, I'll tell you what we had to change, so you know what we've done to you. So, the comprehensive plan is broken up into 4 sections. Oops, it is gonna just go away on me, talk fast. An introduction, community profile, land use plan, and implementation strategy. And I will mention the first of our changes is on page 5. You'll have just an inserted page that's kind of free. We were requested to pull down that, so the dashed yellow line is truly just a 2-mile boundary. But to avoid confusion, we went ahead and pulled that map down so that you can't see Michigan. So there was a little, a request to make that change. So that's why you have that separate map. The only difference literally is the view port for that map is just pulled down a little bit. That has been changed and updated in the version that's on your website. The community profile, The introduction provides an outline of the process and a summary of our public engagement efforts. And you'll see the timeline on page 7 along the right-hand side that shows kind of where we started last January and where we're ending up now. And then page 8 and 9 provide some survey information. Hope you all participated in the survey that we sent out earlier in the year. And then as well as we had a town workshop, we had a draft plan open house in October. And then we had our public hearing at the Plan Commission in December 2nd. And so that's kind of a summary of all the public engagement we did. The key for the public engagement, the reason behind the public engagement is to get an idea of what the community would like to see as we develop the goals and recommendations in the plan itself. So we consider that to be a really important part, and if you look at the timeline, we spent quite a bit of time doing that. The next is the community profile. What this does is gives us an idea, a little bit about the demographics of the community. Again, demographics are only as good as the sources that collect it, so we use these kind of as baselines and conversation starters, not as end-all be-all information. It's nice to know, but again, part of that community engagement is to really kind of collect the story that's going on in the community as opposed to what's published in the census. So we find that to be really important. And one way we did that is through our community survey. And so we just wanted to provide a few results. Oops, see, we'll get back there. So when you start talking to people about a community, a lot of times people will automatically go to the negative. What don't they like about a community? And so it's not that we aren't interested in that, but we want people to think a little bit more. People live in Fremont, and we want to know why. Why do you choose to live here? You could live almost anywhere in the world. Why do you choose to live in Fremont? And we like to pose it that way to get people thinking about, you know, why do I live here? Why did I choose to stay? Why did I choose to move here? And so by far, they like the small town character. 64% of the respondents, they thought it was a safe community, near quality schools, a great place to raise a family, and their job is in or near Fremont. 60% of the respondents were very likely to recommend living in Fremont to someone else. And the reason we ask that question is that we want to know what people think about, would you recommend this town to somebody else? Would you invite your family members and your friends to live here with you? That says something. That says, yes, I like this place, and I think it's good enough for my family and friends to live here too. We did receive 155 response. 90 people told us they wanted to stay in touch, and that was via email. And so every time we had another public engagement exercise, we would email those folks and make sure they were aware of what was going on. 89% of the respondents were residents of Fremont. 77 shopped or visited businesses in Fremont, 71 attended events, and 69% visited parks. Just gives you an idea of who was answering the questions. And so we ask, how is Fremont changing? And some of the concerns, the positive aspects were, they thought, we've had infrastructure and park upgrades, new businesses, and more vibrant and walkable communities. Those are important things. That tells us not only that they like those, but those are important to them because they've noticed them. And then we ask about some concerns, because those are also important to know what kinds of things people are concerned about moving forward, and the type and pace of housing development, gaps in essential services, specifically affordable housing, childcare, and maintenance of public spaces, and then losing that small town charm to overgrowth. And those things are important. As we started thinking about the recommendations and the actions that we put in this plan, we had those in the back of our mind all the time, thinking, okay, these are the kind of the issues that we need to make sure we aren't inadvertently causing these issues with our plan recommendations. Now it doesn't want to go. Okay. So the other thing is, growth will be welcomed if it preserves the small town feel of Fremont. It's strategic and not rushed. It includes investment in infrastructure and services, and respects and preserves natural areas and farmland. Those are kind of, we want growth, but we want it for us and at our own pace. And so we thought, again, these are key facts that as you look through the recommendations, these were in the back of our mind as we're developing those recommendations and actions. And then the key part of a comprehensive plan includes a future land use map and future land use classifications, and then a little bit of a discussion about land use and zoning. So your comprehensive plan, you have to have a comprehensive plan in Indiana to have zoning. But they're two different things. The comprehensive plan sets the policies for how you want to develop in your community. The zoning ordinance is the regulatory arm of that. But they have to work in tandem. And so we provided a little summary to show how the two kind of interact. There's the future land use map. And there's the zoning plan. It zipped right over there, didn't it? The zoning plan is on, I'm going to lose it right here. At the end of the land use section. Oh, now it's really going. So there's where we take those land uses on the side, and then we correlate them to your districts in your zoning ordinance, just so that you can kind of see how the two relate to each other. And then the next is we went through each of the implementation strategy kind of highlights and classifies, because we had a lot of recommendations through this plan. And to kind of help organize them and help the folks that are going to be in charge of managing this thing, we put the implementation strategy together, which starts on page 57. With an explanation of how we've kind of organized them. So each activity is going to be listed as kind of a type. Is it an administrative action, a decision maker? That means it'll come to you for action. Is it transportation and connectivity, utilities, research, public outreach, marketing, and community building? And the idea here is that we take the action, we kind of classify it to give you an idea of what it is, but then we've also identified who would be the lead role for that, because the town staff can't do everything on their own. So there's a lot of zoning administrator in here, sorry Becky, but it's just the nature. There's a lot of clerk treasurer, because that's how work gets done. But then we've also tried to include supporting roles. So other partners in the community that might be helpful in getting some of these actions and activities done as you move through the plan. And then there's a whole series of appendix which is not included. It's a whole nother 100 and some odd pages. It's on your website. But what this does is it gives you the actual survey results the sign-in sheets, all the information. We were able to work with the Historical Society that provided us a list of the historic structures that are in this appendix now, so that they're in there for posterity's sake. And then the minutes and the adoption resolutions will be in there as well. And so that is the comprehensive plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Oh, the sticker. What page was the sticker on? 18? 30. That was the other thing that I wanted to point out. On page 30, there's a little sticker on the bottom of your page, which is a request from the attorney to add a little kind of note there. Again, this version has been cleaned up, and the clean version is on the website, but we had already printed these for you, so we improvised with stickers.
Any questions on the comprehensive plan?
Nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation.
Very informative. Okay, that being said, next item is Resolution 2025-06. This is a resolution that adopts the new comprehensive plan for the town of Fremont. Any questions on the resolution? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-05 for the comprehensive plan?
So,
Have a motion by Barry, do I have a second?
second.
Second by Scott, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's also resolution number 2025-06. This is a resolution adopting the new park master plan for the town of Fremont. Any questions?
I got more.
Oh, go right ahead. All right.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah, missed that one. We've been through it.
Yes, we've been through this. So we're passing out copies of the Parks Master Plan, and this is another one where I had to add a couple pages for you. So the acknowledgement page, which is the back of the cover, we went ahead and confirmed that there was a vacant spot on the Parks Committee. So that change was made there. And then on page 18 on this one, we took off the number on the second seat where it says Parks Committee on the left-hand column. It used to say the 4-member Parks Committee, and it now just says Parks Committee. So those are those two changes. Again, this I sent to you and will be updated on the website so that the clean versions are out there. So the table of contents for the Parks Master Plan includes an introduction, community profile, public participation. We then go through each of the Fremont parks. We conduct a needs analysis and then provide priorities and action schedule. Although this plan is not being submitted to IDNR, we followed their kind of process so that it is consistent with the content with the IDNR request, but not eligible for submittal for grants. So the introduction talks about is the intent of the plan area. Interestingly enough, your comprehensive plan looks at the town limits, and your extraterritorial jurisdiction, because that's what you have zoning control over. But the Parks Master Plan, the state, again, since we followed the state policy, asks for you to look at a more broad area. Because parks are local, kind of regional, and then state parks. So all of those are looked at. So we did look at Pokagon, some of the other assets in driving distance for your community, just to get a fuller picture of what kind of park and recreational assets are in the area and may be utilized by your population. It has an overview of the system, the administration of the system, the Parks Committee mission, and the goals are all in that first section. As with the comprehensive plan, we did a parks survey and asked people about what they want. Oh, come on. The community profile, Town of Fremont vision statement, some local history and natural resources, and then population and housing characteristics. Again, the state wants to know, generally when they look at these things, like who is it you're serving? If you've got a large population of seniors, are you providing services for the seniors? If you have a large, child, elementary school population, are your parks providing those kinds of assets that those populations would like to see? And so that's on page 13, as well as some employment and education. And then, again, all plans love public participation. So very similarly, we did an engagement timeline. We had a plan steering committee. We had the parks committee. We provided a community character survey. We also did a parks use survey. We had a parks plan workshop, draft plan review, and open house along with the comprehensive plan the day before Halloween. And then tonight is the plan adoption, if you so choose. So I hope you can see this, but the intent here is during the survey, we asked people how often they use the parks. And we asked them they didn't have to, but we asked them to respond to all the 6 parks that we had in our system, how often they attended. And you can see that, some people go to parks on a regular, it's a small percentage, but we do have people who go to parks almost every day. And 5% of the people who responded go to Vistula Park almost every day. 3 to 5 times a week, 1 to 2 times per week. This just gives you an idea of how often people are going to the parks. The next set of questions ask, well, what do you do when you're there? If you go to the parks, what are you doing while you're there? And by far, relaxation, enjoying and observing nature, visiting playgrounds, meeting with friends and family, walk, jog, or run, and 38% were using the dog, place for dogs to go. Then we had the sports activities following after that. And then what do you think the priority should be for the parks over the next 5 years? And update and renovate existing park facilities, regular maintenance, add additional recreation opportunities, incorporate accessibility for people with mobility challenges, and then the last on the list was develop new parks. I think this is important to show that people think investment should be made in the assets you already have and improving the parks that you have as opposed to trying to find new ones to create. Not that they didn't want new parks, but I think that you have support for maintaining your current park system. This is kind of hard to read, but what this is asking is would you support things like we have slow pitch softball, pickleball league, weekend and morning yoga in the park. Would you attend a weekly farmer's market? Very likely or somewhat likely, by far the choices. And then what about food truck events if they were to be held at Rocket Ship Park? Very likely and somewhat likely were very popular responses. So these came because these were activities that the Parks Committee wanted to get some feedback on. If we chose to do this, would you participate? And I think you had some pretty good feedback on those activities. And then the Fremont Park inventory. So there's an overview of the inventory that is on page 21. And this looks at things like, do you have benches? Do you have bleachers? Open field? Do you have play structure? And it lists all of your parks and all of the assets right there in one spot. And then we go through each individual park and we talk a little bit about what's there now, as well as if there were comments related to that individual park that were received either during the survey or during the public open house. So those are right there. Yeeks. And then the needs analysis. So a needs analysis is something that, again, is prescribed by the state of Indiana. And what that is looking at is saying, does your park system kind of meet the needs of your community? One, through public engagement, through that community survey, which we think is most important. And 82% of your respondents said they thought the facilities were good or excellent. That's great. That's a great number. And then 84% thought that access to parks, open spaces, and nature was either important or very important to their satisfaction of quality of life. Again, just reinforcing the fact that the community wants investment in parks and public spaces. And then one other part, which is a little less exciting in the needs analysis, is that we did provide a list of kind of key findings, and those start on page 45, along with the survey results that go through. One thing we do like to do, and this again because we are following the state procedure, is they request an analysis against the park matrices in the National Recreation Park Association. And so those are there for your review if you choose to. There's, again, it's kind of a page 52 and 53, kind of just show how Fremont stacks up against the national average. Again, we thought it was much more important to get the feedback from the community as opposed to a random metrics, but it's, again, another point to think through. And then the last piece is the priorities and action schedule. And that lists the projects that were identified during the planning process and kind of puts them in years. So it's a first year project. It's something that's going to be an ongoing project that will last the whole 5 years. It's something that will be done in year 3 or year 5. And again, knowing that no community can act alone, we tried to list partners and people who might be interested in being involved in particular actions listed in the priority and actions schedule. And so there's some overview ones, and then there's park by park are also listed for you there, hopefully so that it's easier to track as you go through the process. And then again, a big old appendix that will be on your website for you to review. Again, same kind of thing, survey results, sign-in sheets, minutes from the Parks Committee recommending the approval of the Parks Plan, and then your resolution from tonight will also be in there. And I'm
Questions, anybody for her? Okay, now we'll come up with resolution 2025-06, resolution adopting a new park master plan. Do I have a motion for approval of the resolution?
So
I have a motion by Barry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ashley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New business. We have 2 utility credits and an adjustment. Okey-dokey. New utility credits. We have New Horizon, which is normal.
Correct.
And the other one was a credit on the sewer, which has been verified for Amanda Beatty. Then there was also an adjustment. This was where a truck was brought in and wastewater agreed that that had already went through their monthly bill out to the outlet. Do you have any questions on that? Do I have a motion to approve the sewer credits and adjustments?
Motion.
A motion by Scott, do I have a second? Second by Ashley, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We next have salary ordinance. This is ordinance 2025-12. This is for the salary ordinance for the town of Fremont for the year 2026. Are there any questions on the salary ordinance? With no questions, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a motion by Bill, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There also is, let's see, another one out there, 2025-13, which is an amendment to the current year salary ordinance. This is changing, the date should have been 12/19, where it reads 12/26. Do I have a motion to approve 2025-13 to make that amendment? I have a motion by Ash, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is board appointments. These would be for the RDC, the Plan Commission, the BZA, the Parks Committee, and the Tree Board. For RDC, there are 5, each is a 1-year appointment. It's Adam Harrington, myself, Steve Brown, Lon Kais, Bill Stitt. Plan Commission, Ann Abernathy. That's a 4-year term. She's going on as a Democrat. That's an appointment by the council president. BZA, T.R. Haggerty has said he would accept a 4-year term going on as a Republican. That's also an appointment by the council president. Park Committee, those are appointed by the council. They will serve as council leisure. That's Donna Bond and Kyle Hoos. And Tree Board, Joe Gannon, which is an appointment by the council, and that's a 4-year term. Do you have any questions on those appointments? Do I have a motion to approve the appointments for 2026?
I'm going to excuse myself from the vote since my husband is one of the potential appointments for the.
Okay, Ashley's gonna excuse herself due to Kyle being on there. So with Ashley excused, do I have a motion for the appointment?
So moved to do board appointment for
And
2026.
motion by Bill, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Scott, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is an amendment to the fire contract. This is with Clear Lake Township. They're amending the contract to be giving us $40,000 that will be given in the month of December 2025. This is a donation that will go toward a rescue boat only. They would like that amendment made so they can give us $40,000. Any questions on the amendment? Do I have a motion to accept the amendment? I have a motion by Barry, do I have a second? Second by Ashley, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the dog park. We went around, we've done due diligence as far as talking to other communities that have dog parks. There are a couple signs that have been talked about. One sign would be to put on the skate park, since they're so next to each other and there's not a sign on the skate park which reads, if you have an emergency, call 911. This is an unsupervised, use at your own risk facility. No pets, domestic or farm, are allowed in the skate park area. As far as the dog park, the sign for that would read, if you have an emergency, call 911. Limit your visit to 15 minutes. If someone is waiting, use the dog park at your own risk. These two signs would go on the dog park, and the signs that are there now would not be removed, which read unsupervised, use at your own risk. Any questions on those signs?
I move to get these signs, and once they're posted, especially on the dog park, since it's been closed, let's open up the dog park and let those puppies run.
All right, we have a motion to accept these two signs, get them ordered, get them installed. Once they are installed, then open up the dog park. And the skate park's already open, so. And I have a second by Barry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, cameras. We have a quote for the dog park area. We also have LPR cameras, which is license plates readers, which is a camera in itself, which does license plates only. The dog park, this would be for 2 cameras down there. And the cost, $21,780.
Correct.
That's hard to read, is that 21,780?
Yeah, it's very small, 21,780, correct.
All right. There are also the cameras for the police department, for the LPRs, are $21,780.
Correct.
They're identical.
And if I may, Madam President, they would be willing to give us a trial on the LPRs to see if the police actually, like the way that they are, the way they're positioned. We'd have to pay for just the positioning of them and the installation of them. And then if they didn't like them, then of course we wouldn't be out anything, they would take them back. Or we would just keep them, of course, or they just readjust them or do what we needed before we actually have to pay for those 2.
Okay, and it's also noted that the ones for the dog park are solar. They are not electric.
One little correction, because I zoomed in, it's 21,730
30
30?
for both?
for both. But had to zoom in.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
They're really close.
Yeah, because it's a very tiny copy.
We have those funds available.
Correct, yes, we've taken them out of special funds for it, out of our operating.
And I will go ahead and I would like to make a motion that we approve purchase and installation of both of these sets of cameras as it has been presented to us.
All right, so there is a motion out there by Barry to accept both quotes for the cameras, the dog park, skate park, $21,730, and the LPR cameras, which will be up in the center of town for $21,730. I have a second by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries for both cameras. Next item. This is from Swing Set Mall. This is a quote for a new park swing. It's a tandem swing for children and adults. I presume we have to order it now and get it by spring.
Correct, what they did is they went ahead and got the quote, so that way we could encumber the funds, utilize the budget that they have this year, and then take $800 out of next year's budget for them.
So we've got a quote for a new swing, $5,898, and we do have the funds. So any questions on the quote for a swing?
No, and that's a swing and a frame and
Correct, it's like a mommy swing that we have down there now.
Tandem.
awesome, love it.
Do I have a motion to accept the quote? Order the swing. Got it from Ashley. Do I have a second? Second from Barry. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Drones. Okay, here's 2. We have one for $19,071, along with an estimate that's attached to that for a drone case. As expensive as it is, there's a place to keep it. That's $3,000. That's for the fire department.
So that's actually for the police
Police
department, and
department.
the fire department would also like a case for the one that they have, and so that would be an additional $3,000.
So we're looking at 2 cases at $3,000 each. And then the $19,071 is for the police department, as well as the other one is the dog drone for $1,217. Any questions on the drones?
Is it actually something they're going to use They use them both in, the fire department uses theirs, the police,
Correct.
they couldn't share one.
No, the way that I understand it, it's better if each department has their own. And the smaller unit, actually is for the safety for the dog, because they send it in before they send in Rex, and then check it out, make sure it's okay before he.
Then they're able to send a dog in.
Yes. And then one thing, if I may add on to that, if you decide to approve this drone purchase, the closest, it's out of state for them, and plus two, that those rules aren't the same as what ours are to learn how to operate it. So in May, if we host a class here, Mark said he gets 2 registrations for no charge. So that was
So you could save money.
Yes, so if you can approve, if you decide to go with that, then we could just approve that would be okay to host the class here. It's May 11th through the 14th, I think.
What do you think?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion from Scott, that's for both drones, 2 cases, and hosting the class in May. Do I have a second? Second by Ashley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I also have listed, it is time to approve the surety bond for Kathy. Any questions for Kathy?
The obvious one, is she sure?
Do I have a motion to approve the surety bond?
So moved.
Motion by Bill, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Reports. Fire, no question on the fire. Police, zoning, I have her report. Any questions for Becky on zoning? Street?
Nothing bad.
Any questions out there for the street? We have water, wastewater, and park. Any questions on any of the reports? Okay, I would also like to add that the audit is done. The audit is for the town. Audit's been released. It was a clean audit, absolutely no issues. And that Fremont has also been approved as a DORA. So that'll be the next thing. We will begin looking at the statutes for the DORA, getting signs, and we'll get those up for approval, etc. So anything else from anybody? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
We'll bring some up about the posting. Could we go ahead and post for a town manager's position? Or do we need to wait?
You need a job description
That would be
for it.
So could we,
So we know-
do we approve that job description?
We will,
Okay.
after you go through and make any adjustments, so it can come with approval of the town council. Because they'll have to come through and probably write a new ordinance for it. Because the ordinance we have, the old one was amended, and it's kind of outdated if you read it.
right.
So they do it right.
Do we put together a committee to do that, so we don't violate
You've got to
anything?
go through those things and see if there's any adjustments that you want to add, then we can get together and put a job description. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.